Good morning. It is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, and I am excited to welcome you to another Taco Tuesday here at WiLS. We've got a full slate of four presenters today, so I'm raring to go, and I'm sure that they're eager to get going too. We're going to start off with somebody that I just met. I'm really excited to have him here today. Larry is joining us from ProQuest. Larry, are you ready to take the reins?
I am.
All right, I'll stop sharing my screen and then it'll be all yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go into presentation mode. And hello, everyone. I'm Larry Wilkner. I am a product manager at ProQuest, and I'm very excited to be here as a participant on Taco Tuesday. We want to cover today ProQuest's K through 12 solutions that are available to WiLS. As you can see on this screen, there's a significant number and variety of resources that we offer. We're going to focus on three of these, specifically eLibrary, which is really our beginner sort of starter database, aggregated database solution. ProQuest Central Student, which is a more advanced database, really ideal for college preparatory situations or students in high school who are anticipating going on to university. And then the academic video online solution, our flagship streaming video solution, again, appropriate for high schools. So we're going to start today by looking at academic video online, which again is most appropriate for high school age students. Academic video online is the most comprehensive video resource for teaching and learning and a great resource for student engagement. It is also a great support for staff as well. Videos are available to help teachers explore additional teaching strategies from respected providers such as ASCD, Stenhouse Publishing, and Corwin Press. There are counseling videos to help with bullying, mental health issues, and more. From feature films to video tutorials, Academic Video Online is a great collection available to libraries with around 80,000 titles curated for the educational experience. We also pride ourselves on our accessibility features, especially our on-demand audio description that allows libraries to request audio description if they have sight-impaired students. Our goal is to make sure anyone who wants to learn from video can, no matter what their abilities. With our public performance rights, Academic Video Online allows campuses to screen films with students and even families on campus as long as there is no charge for admission. We are also happy to provide a new learning tool called Video Interaction Functionality. This new functionality promotes student engagement by providing assessment tools which allow faculty to better understand student comprehension of important course concepts. Interactive features include multiple choice questions, free response, polling, fill in the blank response, vocabulary matching, discussion questions. Collaboration activities allow students to discuss faculty-identified topics together and expand their understanding of the lesson via engaging content. The reflective pause feature can help draw connections from the course to the video, providing discussion opportunities among students and instructors. Student results can be reported in the Learning Management System gradebook, either automatically via LTI or via CSV export. In addition, faculty will have access to real-time analytics to see student responses and adapt their teaching based on student comprehension to facilitate improved learning outcomes. So very excited about this feature, and I think you'll find it quite useful in the classroom. Let's turn our attention now to ProQuest Central Student. Again, this is a high school resource that provides a broad variety of content types, in fact, broader than any other database available today. The ProQuest platform combines a simple, easy-to-use interface, making it easy for students to find what they need, where and when they need it. The same user experience as the ProQuest academic, this is the same user experience as the ProQuest academic platform, so your students will have a seamless transition to college level resources. ProQuest Central Student covers over 160 subject areas across 12 unique databases, making it a true one-stop resource. It's continuously growing with full text content being added to thousands of sources. There are over 9,000 full text periodicals from key publishers and providers, and we always strive for fewer and shorter embargoes on content. A wide variety of content types ensures students have access to the content they need when they need it. As we know, the print version of newspapers is shrinking, so it's essential to capture the online version, which often includes online-only content. You can see some of the publications that you can find in ProQuest Central Student. They include Wall Street Journal, Times of India, Toronto Star, South China Morning Post, just to name a few. Online-only sites and blogs have become authoritative sources, and we carefully curate the best of these news sources for use by faculty and students. These include ProPublica, Huffington Post, Al Jazeera, Politico, and many more. As we know, COVID and the implications of COVID multiplied the demand for video resources in the classroom. Our news titles provide timely and important context to current events through thousands of videos, like through the New York Times, Washington Post video, and CBS 60 Minutes. Videos span subjects such as business, entrepreneurship, science, psychology, social sciences, health, and more. And there are full episodes of the award-winning 60 Minutes documentary series and television show from the years 1997 through 2014 to provide, really a rich context for contemporary issues. Here's sort of an infographic of the diverse quality content that you can find in ProQuest Central Student, including case studies, the newspapers I mentioned, magazines, a really astounding number and variety of academic journals, and a wide variety of one-time publications like government documents, press briefings, and various business reporting. So again, a lot to take in, but really provides a massive collection for your students, particularly those high school students who are college bound. Let's move then to eLibrary. eLibrary supports general reference research and is really ideal for the beginning researcher, one who may never have used a database before. It has a huge collection of periodicals, books, and maps, and a variety of other content, but what really distinguishes it is its photo collection. There are over 7 million images, and these include charts, graphics, photos, and it's particularly good for history and literature assignments. And you can see the numbers there, that 7 million images included sources like the Getty Image Archive and the Bridgman Art Archive as well. What distinguishes eLibrary, however, from other aggregated research databases are the editor-curated and maintained research topic pages. We have over 10,000 of these curated pages aligned to the most commonly researched topics, particularly in K-12. I'm going to show you one of them. This one was curated by our editors, happens to be on Wisconsin plants and wildlife. It includes a topic overview, not written by our staff, but actually an excerpt from a publication that's included in eLibrary. It includes relevant images. Again, we have over 7 million images to draw from, so our editors pick images. We know a lot of projects now require image components, whether it's PowerPoint or other formats. There's links to related articles. Again, these are articles found within eLibrary and intended to just provide context and grounding for the student who may be new to the topic. And then there are links to related topics and the ability really to save to do document sharing through Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive or Google Classroom. Speaking of accessibility and access to these products, Google Single Sign-On via a district account is now available for both ProQuest Central Student and eLibrary, and other products as well, but those are the ones we talked about today. Google Single Sign-On, as you may already know, removes the barrier to student access, means that students have one fewer password to remember, and is easily set up in our ProQuest administrator module, which if you have other subscriptions with ProQuest, you'll be familiar with that. Also supported, and in addition to Google Single Sign-On or Clever Single Sign-On, I mentioned the ability to save to Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. And also through LTI, we have the ability to authenticate through Canvas and Moodle so that you're making it easier for faculty to share documents on those learning management system platforms for students to access and use in classroom assignments. I should mention that the LTI authentication is also available for our Alexander Street academic video online product. So with that, I'm going to stop and see if there are any questions.
Haven't seen any come in quite yet, Larry, but I will encourage folks to go ahead and throw a message in the chat if you've got a question for Larry, or raise your hand or something. We can unmute you. Larry, thanks for showing us all of this today. My time at WiLS, I've been at WiLS for 10 years, but from almost all of that, I was working in higher ed kind of area. And so I've only recently started working with our school or K-12 members. And so it's really been a process to learn more about what kind of offerings there are for our K-12 members. And you showed us some stuff here today that I rarely have thought of. So that's really great. I appreciate you sharing that with us today. It's good for my own education in addition to our members.
Yeah, ProQuest is very well known in the academic sphere, but we like to remind people that we have a wealth of K-12 resources, which really leverage some of the same, publisher relationships and even features and content that, students are going to go on to encounter in the academic environment, but they can have access to now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always like to emphasize is that a lot of what, if you're getting some of these ProQuest resources at the K-12 level, especially for your high school students, your kind of higher grades, they will likely see some of these same resources when they transition over to college. So or if not the same resources, things that look and function similarly, right?
That's right. That's right.
Research at the college level. So
there are variations on a theme. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good. It's very that there's a value just in that, in kind of in terms of student readiness for college level research as well.
So I have the account managers for ProQuest here. If you're interested in getting trials set up for any of these, you can reach out to either Chris or Melody, and they'll be happy to help you. And I just want to thank Jeff and everyone for this opportunity to talk about ProQuest.
Larry, thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to meet you. You've shared a ton of information that I'm sure our members will be excited to hear about. So thanks so much. I hope you'll join us again.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Have a great afternoon. Okay, well, with that, I think we're ready to introduce our next presenter. I'm going to very briefly take us back to our kind of intermediary screen so that I can properly introduce my friend who I'm pleased to be welcoming back to Taco Tuesday, Melissa Mazza, joining us from Bloomsbury. Melissa, you ready to take the reins here?
Yes, I will hopefully get this going here. Let's make sure I have this going correctly. Okay. Is this working? Can you see my...
Yes, I can see your opening slide here.
All right, perfect. All right, hopefully this goes smoothly, but holler if anything goes a little wonky, because who knows these days, right?
Looks good.
All right, so thanks so much to Jeff and the WiLS team for the invitation to Taco Tuesday. I'm Melissa Mazza. I'm with Bloomsbury Digital Resources, and I thought I would kind of just do a whistle-stop tour of one of our newest subject hubs that we launched earlier in the spring, and that is our Bloomsbury Visual Arts Hub. So what we decided to do is take our leading visual arts digital resources and move them all together onto one richly layered cross-searchable platform. And basically what we decided to do is take some of our existing collections, such as the Bloomsbury Design Library, Bloomsbury Applied Visual Arts, and the Bloomsbury International Encyclopedia of Surrealism, and bring them onto a new hub. And at the same time, we launched a new groundbreaking digital collection, our Bloomsbury Art Markets, and then we recently just added 2 new collections, Animation Practice and Design Studies. So, first, I will go over Bloomsbury Applied Visual Arts, which is one of the migrated platforms that you may already be familiar with, but I'll do a quick little summary of what this resource holds. So this resource is the ultimate guide to a visual arts education. It's a comprehensive resource that offers over 200 books, which combine visual inspiration with practical advice on idea generation, research techniques, portfolio development, and more across the main visual arts disciplines. And you can see here, we kind of have separated it into 6 different tiles, as we call them: fashion and textiles, architecture and interiors, and more. And this versatile combination of titles covers key skills and topics in each field and at different levels of study sequentially, from basic concepts to careers and professional practice. We offer a wealth of practical pedagogy, such as case studies, learning practitioner interviews, and activities, allowing students and instructors to realize learning outcomes while embedding students' understanding of real-world applications supporting portfolio development. And just as a quick little note, I wanted to show one of the enhanced PDF views of the textbooks that are offered on this platform, for which we add new editions each year as they become updated. And the basic premise was, the creation was to take a traditional textbook and make it more highly visual to spur creativity and inspiration for those who are more visual learners. So each of these textbooks will have around 200 full color illustrations or images to meet those needs of visual learners. So recently we started to launch these, in a way, sub-collections of Bloomsbury Applied Visual Arts, although they're available independently of each other. The first is our Animation Practice collection. So we partnered with CRC Press and Routledge to offer over 50 comprehensive titles and practice-focused books that cover pre-production, production, and post-production techniques, from sketching, storyboarding, and directing a story to character design, rigging, and lighting. Next, we also launched our Design Studies collection, which has over 60 titles from Routledge and Gower Ashgate, which cover a wide range of important subjects across design research, product design, interior design, furniture, sustainability and marketing, and advertising. It features internationally renowned scholars and a well-established series, and has been curated to feature essential titles for research and study. Next, as I mentioned, we are very excited to launch our Bloomsbury Art Markets resource. This launched back in March, and it's exclusive to Bloomsbury Digital Resources, and it's the first and only digital reference work of its kind. It covers auction houses, galleries, art fairs, art dealers, and agents from Europe and North America from the 1900 to present day. It launched with over 2,200 articles and will grow to over 4,000, featuring selected bibliographies and biographies to facilitate further research, as well as information on archival material and its whereabouts. It will enhance research by discovering key players in the art market and exploring expert information on artists, exhibitions, and the economic involvement of relevant institutions. You can do things like trace auction activities, compile a snapshot in time of evolving trends through a specific art market. You can search period and location. And it's just a really great resource that hasn't been available before. All right, next we have our Bloomsbury Design Library, which also migrated over. So some of you may be familiar with this or already have this as part of your offerings to your patrons. This resource is a cutting-edge scholarly resource offering cutting-edge coverage of design and crafts worldwide from 1500 BCE to the present day. It offers things like reference works, ebooks, rich image collections of museum objects. There's image collections from over 4,000 images. We also have a timeline, and it's the ideal research and learning tool for design and visual arts to support both students and academics by allowing them to explore the history and context of influential design schools, people, periods, places, and disciplines, as well as looking back at past exhibitions from key museums, such as a 2018 exhibit from the Design Museum, Denmark. The last of the migrated resources is Bloomsbury International Encyclopedia of Surrealism, and this is also an exclusive resource to the platform. It is available only perpetually, but it is the first comprehensive resource offering a systematic overview of one of the most influential and enduring 20th century art movements from its beginnings to the present day. There's a 3-volume reference work, interactive timeline, and rare archive images and portraits, as well as artwork. And it's an invaluable resource for students across a wide range of courses, not just art, but it could be part of French culture or history or things like that. There's survey articles, A to Z articles, and then rare and archive documentary images as well. So currently on its own platform, but we'll be migrating later this year. I think it's slated for November, but sometime this winter is our Bloomsbury Architecture Library. So this will be joining in, and it'll all be cross-searchable, although we do keep things subscription sensitive here at Bloomsbury because we know that a lot of times that can cause confusion for patrons. So once this migrates over, it'll feature the 2 existing collections. The first is the core collection, which was really built around the renowned reference work, Sir Bannister Fletcher's Global History of Architecture. It's the 21st edition, which was the first full rewrite since he passed, and it's now global in scope with unparalleled detail on the world's architecture from prehistory to the present day, with descriptions of thousands of major buildings accompanied by over 2,200 photographs, drawings, and building plans, including new and original material. And there's also a glossary based on this reference work, but you can see kind of in the background here, there's a building page that has images, a map. It talks about the architect, the designers, the style, everything like that. So you can get a lot of information, drill down to a single building even. The second collection available is the Architecture, Design, and Practice Online, which has over 200 ebooks in partnership with Taylor and Francis that focuses on studio design and professional practice. It's a must-have for students and professional architects, bringing in-depth design guidance and technical detail, up-to-date peer-reviewed content, and a wealth of case studies and technical drawings, as well as over 15,000 images. So I just wanted to quickly touch on some forthcoming content. On the Architecture Library, which will be on the hub as well, we have the Encyclopedia of Vernacular Architecture of the World, 2nd edition, which will expand the scope of this existing edition to capture 2 decades of concerted effort to document and understand the world's fast disappearing traditional and vernacular building cultures. It will feature 3,000 illustrated entries written by the world's leading scholars. This is coming in 2024, as well as the Global Encyclopedia of Women in Architecture, which is filling a major gap in architectural historiography. And it's the first authoritative reference to women and architects and their work and key terms for gender and feminism in architecture, with over 1,000 entries, 600 images, and covers 135 countries, all exclusive to the platform. And then coming in this fall, we have a few more of those kind of very specific topical focus for the visual arts. We have applied gaming, photography, and ceramics all coming in September, and then printmaking is coming in October. So these are in partnership with some well-known publishers and offer highly illustrated and instructional books and images that will help students across these different fields of the visual arts. And then lastly, I just wanted to quickly cover basically what all of our resources have. They're all unlimited user access with DRM free content. You can buy subscription or perpetual access when available at the collection level. We have all types of access authentication from IP address and proxy server and more. Counter 5 user statistics. We do have an interactive admin portal. We do offer free 30-day trials as well. And then we do support you with DOIs, MARC records, KBART records. You can import your institutional logo to be displayed, and we do conform to accessibility standards. And in terms of support with marketing, we do have promotional materials downloadable on each site, but we're happy to provide anything further. And we have a lot of walkthrough videos coming soon, as well as ones that are already on the site. And then lastly, I just wanted to announce that because you had the patience to listen to me ramble on today, or in the future recording of this, you can get an extra 5% off any of the Bloomsbury Visual Arts collections through the end of September. So just reach out to WiLS for any pricing, and you can reach out to me directly for more information about these or any of our resources, and if you'd like to set up a free trial. So thank you, and here's my contact information on the screen.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm always happy when you come because there's always new stuff coming onto the Bloomsbury Digital Resources platform.
Always. We have so many new things. I started about 5 years ago, and just the amount that we've grown and added resources, it's very hard to keep track of, but it's amazing. And it's always exciting to see what's coming down the road.
This is pulling back the curtain a little bit, but Melissa sends me a new spreadsheet, I don't know, 3-4 times a year. And this spreadsheet at this point has just tabs for days of all the various products and all the subscription levels for every product and one-time purchase levels for every product. So it's a huge amount of resources available, all kinds of configurations available. And we're always thrilled to help our members find the right product at the right price. And Melissa's a great partner for that.
Yes, and please send any questions my way. I'm happy to help. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us today, Melissa. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks. Great to see you.
You too. All right. Well, I'm going to get us set up for our next presenter. I feel like I should be better at this point. Should be more seamless than it is, but that's just the way it is. I'm excited to introduce folks to somebody who I think is a new friend for me. I don't believe we've had you here on Taco Tuesday before, but I'm excited to introduce Megan, who is joining us from the Washington Post. Megan, we're a minute or two ahead of schedule, but are you feeling like you're ready to roll here?
Sure, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over.
Great, thanks so much. Let me get mine together. All right, should we wait a minute until it's exactly time?
I think we can probably start. I think that's totally fine.
Sure. So hi to everybody from Washington Post headquarters here in downtown DC. To introduce myself really quickly, my name is Megan Carey and I run our enterprise group subscription business. So what that means is any public library, university, or school who wants group subscription access digitally to the Post. That is our little group. So I'm here to share about our subscription offerings and a little bit about our content. So let me just make sure I'm sharing my sound because we have a fun video. Here we go.
We've got everybody checked in and ready to roll.
Go ahead, you're open to both.
3,
Put it over the slate now.
2, 1. Take camera 1. Go, John.
Welcome to Washington Post Live.
That was quite an intro. My gosh, we should probably just leave it right there.
I've hit the big time. Washington Post. I can go home and tell my parents what I did today.
Between Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Washington Post Live itself, we are now reaching hundreds of thousands of homes across all 50 states.
The power of this platform is it takes people into the world of ideas.
Audience members of Washington Post Live are part of the conversation.
Audience or viewer question from George Kralovic from Virginia asks, now that we have the Inflation Reduction Act, do we still need a price on carbon?
Whether it's with cancer scientists or politicians.
This panel, I think, was originally called, 2 women against Putin. It really should be 3 women against Putin. And so
the better way to get things done, as I've demonstrated, is by putting a group together and negotiating something that's good for both points of view.
I think Washington Post Live has given us as a newspaper a new platform, a common meeting ground.
When they're sitting in their own space, there is a sense of ownership and comfort.
It's great that you guys have expanded into these formats to give people a greater ability to have a longer conversation. So I look forward to talking to you today.
And their individuality comes through more so than just their title.
Thank you for being the agents and the warriors of the light and truth.
That is the lock from the night of the burglary.
Jeff Bezos bought it at an auction.
Right.
And we're trying to find out how much Bezos paid.
Right. Come back next week.
I'm so grateful to be on a platform like the Washington Post. I subscribe, I read, I love the Washington Post.
Thank you.
We need films like this. So thank you very much. Stephen, Lynn, it's been great to talk to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Big fan. Thanks for talking to us.
I cannot thank you all enough.
We've got everybody checked in.
All right, so I figured we'd jump right in to talk about what a digital subscription to the Washington Post means, and just give a little tour of our website. So let me jump in here. All right. All right, with a digital subscription to the Post, you have full access to our website and all of its content. So when going to WashingtonPost.com, you'll see our homepage, which is live and up to the minute, always changing with breaking news and big stories of the day. So this is our homepage today. With your subscription, you have full access to things like our games as well as our cooking. If you see over here, you'll get more in-depth section breakdown. One of my favorites being well-being, which is all about the science of how to live well. I also wanted to highlight our Washington Post Live section. this is our live events page. So we're always hosting discussions and speakers on all different topics. This program is all virtual. So we really like to have our subscribers take advantage of all the different discussions of Washington Post Live. Again, back to our homepage, we can navigate and you'll see the top sections here, more in Ukraine, on our political coverage with elections coming up. This is definitely something that we're putting all of our resources into. Users can also create Washington Post accounts to have access to a more personalized reading experience, saving stories for later, as well as signing up for newsletters. I have a lot of newsletters that I like to watch. So now I'll talk a little bit about how subscription access works. Let me switch my screen. All right, so I figured I'd start with our public library solution. So we really want to help bring the Post to communities. So we offer a public library subscription that has two methods of access. The first being IP-based access. We whitelist the library's IP addresses. So anyone who's within the library, whether on their own device or a library computer, and they're connected to the network, they can go to WashingtonPost.com and have full content access, no paywalls, no need to log in. They can just browse our site openly. For patrons who are off-site, similar to checking out a book, we offer off-site access through a unique personalized link to your library where users will register their email address, create their account, and get a 7-day subscription pass to the Post. That means they can access by logging into their account on any device 24/7. They can use our app regardless of network. After the 7 days, again, just like checking out a book, they can head back and sign up for another 7-day subscription pass. As a library subscriber, we do send out monthly usage reports, so you can track your usage that way. And I also want to mention all of our subscription offerings are invoiced yearly, and we have a dedicated team here in Washington, D.C. for support for your users as well as your administrators. Here's an example of what your unique registration link would look like for offsite access. It would include your library name on it, and it's just a couple quick clicks for your patrons to start their 7-day pass. Next, I wanted to talk about our K-12 school-wide subscription offering. We really want to get the Post in the hands of young readers. That way they can access quality and comprehensive news coverage to set them up for success. So our K-12 school access, similar to a library access, this is IP-based as well. We'll have your school's IP addresses on an allow list, so anyone connected to the school network can browse WashingtonPost.com freely. We also recognize, we're in a hybrid world and students should have Washington Post things for homework. So when they're home, we provide offsite access as a shared subscription model with group subscription seats. So an administrator on your end will have 20 seats to assign how you see fit. Some schools break it up by grade, some by specific classroom. Some use just one seat for the whole school. That way it's account-based access. They can log into their account and access the Post at any time. They can access our app as well, regardless of school network. All of our academic subscriptions also, again, dedicated support team. Here at the Post, they're invoiced annually, and our academic institutions receive quarterly usage reports so they can keep tabs of their usage. And lastly, I just wanted to talk quickly about our university, our higher ed campus-wide subscription. Similar to K-12, IP-based, so on campus, you can quickly access the Washington Post. So you don't have to create an account or log in. You can just quickly go to washingtonpost.com and have full subscription access when connected to the network. When going campus-wide, we also understand people live off campus, people are working remote, and we want to provide that offsite access for them. So we allow your campus, your EDU email domain to be recognized for subscription access. There's no administration on the school's end. So everyone with, wisconsin.edu email addresses could activate their own individual subscription access upon account creation. So this provides, again, a more personalized reading experience for on-the-go users who want to use our app, who want to save stories for later. They can activate their own account-based access. So really all-encompassing access for universities and all schools as well. So that's my quick rundown. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Jeff. And if you're interested, I'm sure Jeff will send you guys our way so we can chat and provide more information.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited to be able to offer Washington Post to our various member types. It's, I think, more important than ever that we have access to these reputable and kind of long-standing news sources for everyone, including students, including teachers, but also just the general public. So I hope our members will reach out to learn more about how they can carry the Washington Post for their patrons.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
It's our pleasure, Megan. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, but I think we're doing okay. Oops, I muted myself there for 1 second. Rachel, I can see that you're here, but I'm not sure if you might be ready to start early. If not, that's all right.
Hey, Jeff. Yes, I'm here. I'm okay to start.
All right.
Give me a second to share my screen and I'll be good to go.
Let me get us kind of set up. You know what? I'm going to share my screen just for 1 second, just for the benefit of the recording. So we've got a nice, clean kind of start.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Joining us for our fourth presentation today for Taco Tuesday is Rachel Perry, joining us from LibraryUp. Rachel, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can take over.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Hi. Can you see everything okay?
Looks good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me again, Jeff, and everyone here that's watching this recorded or live. I really appreciate your time, and I'm really excited. LibraryUp is new. We're going to be a year old soon, and we were so fortunate to partner with WiLS right out of the gate. And part of that is due to one of our services that we offer, which is called Ground News. And we really feel like it should get in the hands of everybody, regardless of library type. So keep in mind, this is for academic institutions, community colleges, K-12, and also public libraries as well. So I'm going to go into just a quick explanation of LibraryUp. So what we do is we partner with other technology companies to offer their services into the library space. And right now we are partnered with Comics Plus and Ground News, and we're actually working on a new partnership as well to add more to our offerings. So when you subscribe to these products through LibraryUp, not only do you get the amazing technology from those partners that we have, but also you get the onboarding, implementation. All of that will be done seamlessly with the staff at LibraryUp in conjunction with our partners. Combined, we have almost 20 years of experience with working with libraries in the digital space. So we are experts at onboarding and marketing and making sure this is posted in the right places and providing templates with you to communicate your new services to not just your students or your patrons, but also to your staff. We can provide training support. So we really run the gamut. Everything is what we want to do is make sure that this is a full service solution from the beginning to the end, and we have the solutions that meet your needs. So today we're specifically going to focus on ground news, which I love. It's a bit of a theme with the Washington Post, and now we're talking about ground news. So we have an official partnership with Ground News. We're really excited about it. It has been voted App of the Day 5 times in 38 different countries. So it's a pretty revolutionary tool. And it's definitely not similar to other news platforms that you may have used in the past. And it's not a news source, as in it's not like the Washington Post or the New York Times. It is not they are not producing their own stories. And really, we were just excited to partner with them because there's so much emphasis in general around information literacy, of course, in the library space, but more specifically around media literacy. We really want to empower all of our communities to have informed citizens. You know, obviously that's better for our democracy, especially leading into this next election. So how can you use Ground News to service your community, whether that be students or patrons, and effectively giving them a solution to consume the news, but in a way that they're making informed decisions about the stories they're consuming and where they're consuming it from. So quickly, I'm going to just show you for a visual effect, we're going to play this video so you can get a quick rundown of the features within Ground News. And given our time, we are happy to kind of go into the platform live.
Hey, Rachel, I don't think we're hearing audio if there's audio playing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jeff, there is not audio playing. Sorry about that. I will, obviously, you guys can watch this video in the recording, but just as a quick overview, Ground News aggregates over 60,000 articles daily from over 50,000 sources globally. So the whole point of Ground News is to give you one place to look at the news of the day and to also provide you with the information you need to decide which sources are reliable and which articles, stories you want to read from which source. It also helps you spot media bias and polarization with the blind spot feature. And I think one of the most important things about Ground News is they do not use manipulative algorithms to feed you information based off of your previous reading activity. They are a strictly mission-based company. They don't take money from advertisers, and they don't have big corporate investors. It's a privately owned company out of Waterloo, Canada, that was formed just for this mission of giving the community a better way to read the news, where you can take back control of your news consumption without it being directed by algorithms or just overarching maybe bias that company may have or the ownership may have. And now we're going to look at the features so you can see in more detail how this is done. So the first thing I want to talk about is the majority of, I would say, students, based on a research from the Project Information Literacy, 70% of students, college and high school age, reported that they feel very overwhelmed by the daily amount of news. So one of my favorite features of Ground News is, rather than having a bunch of different news outlets push all of these stories, the news of the day, they aggregate it all into one place, and you can see which stories are being reported on the most and maybe which stories aren't. So it really allows the user to see the full spectrum of the story and how it's being covered, or maybe how it's not being covered, by putting everything under one place. So we organize it by the article or the news story rather than the source. So this will help with news overwhelm in the fact that, you know, instead of going to 10 different websites to see who's reporting on what, who's saying this is breaking news, you can see all of that in one place. And the other great thing about this is the same for everybody. So regardless of what you've read before, your homepage is going to look the same for everybody. So I like to think of it as the front page of your digital newspaper. And when we organize these sources by articles, or these stories by articles, the other thing we do is we accompany it with visualizations to help the user look on a scale, the bias distribution, the factuality distribution, or the factuality of the source, along with the bias, and also who owns the source. So again, Ground News does not serve to put labels on anybody. They don't come up with the rating systems themselves. They actually take an average of 3 individual news monitoring organizations that are pretty well known. You guys probably use some of their resources in your classrooms already. So they have come up with a way to take an average score of these 3 combined, and that is how they derive the scale for the visual on the bias. Not every news source is going to have a bias distribution, as we have new ones pop up every day, but they will have coverage fully from across the spectrum. They don't eliminate sources because, you are going to see the Russia state-run newspaper in here, because we think it's very important for you to see how the story is being reported on by everybody on the spectrum, and not just by the most reliable sources. So, and we've touched on this as well, algorithm-driven news consumption. This has been one of our key issues. People are consuming news at a massive rate from social media, and because these algorithms keep them in an echo chamber, they can sometimes unknowingly be trapped in a news cycle that really only reflects their beliefs, and that doesn't help us expand our viewpoint and understand why other people might see things differently. So by not using these algorithms, it really does an amazing job of exposing the full coverage of the story, regardless of who's reporting on it. Ground News is everywhere where readers are. This is probably one of my favorite features of Ground News, is it works on social media. It works across websites. So if you are a user who just loves going to your news website, you can see the bias ratings and factuality ratings while you're on that website. And you can also click through to Ground News as well from that website. And this is the same for social media. So just a couple reviews from, it really depends. We find, I've been finding that this tool is great. Not just librarians are loving it. We've recently had a librarian who's a WiLS member just say it was voted as their #1 must-have resource when they were reviewing all of the tech resources for this year. So professors are really happy with it. We have the librarians who are teaching information literacy who are using it. I've seen it used in humanities courses and health education courses. So it really has an application campus-wide. So you can count on that the usage of this tool is going to be amazing, and it benefits so many people regardless of the study area on your campus. And lastly, the reasons why people are using and partnering with Ground News, they feel it's a great way to provide their community with practical tools to sort through the fire hose of information on a daily you get from news. It helps their users feel empowered with bias and factuality ratings, so they can confidently take a deeper dive and review these sources before they reshare a story on social media or decide to have a discussion about the story themselves. It really helps diversify news diets. I know myself, I am reading so many more news sources I've never read before because of Ground News. That is always my starting point without fail. Of course, it also meets the students or patrons where they're at. We have public libraries who are downloading the browser extension on their libraries in the computer. So anytime somebody is scrolling on social media, that extension is overlaying so they can see factuality and bias ratings. And I do want to note that this also does work with paid news sources like the Washington Post and the New York Times. If your institution or library subscribes to that, they can still access it, and we will pass them through to your source. If you don't have paywall sources, you can actually filter those out of Ground News as well. And regardless of the library, of course, if by adopting Ground News and partnering it and working it into your curriculum or to your adult programming, it really does help empower your community as far as discerning fact and fiction and it might too, for people that have just sworn away with news completely, they find this tool is very, very helpful for them to kind of get back reading the news and approach it. And I can provide more information after this on the web, but for K-12, we authenticate directly with anybody that is a Google school. We provide refer URL and also static IP whitelisting. And for academics, we can authenticate with Open Athens, Shibboleth, and Easy Proxy, along with those other authentication methods I just mentioned. And then public libraries, we are happy to work with you guys at a system-wide level. And, we can discuss further as far as any other additional authentication methods aside from the ones I just mentioned. But we're really excited. We already have a couple partners from WiLS, so we just can't wait to expand this year. And we're happy to announce that we are onboarding 5 school institutions right now, as well as the University of Tennessee and U.S. Army War College. So I would love to chat with anybody who has a focus on media literacy and talk about practical classroom uses and then also adult programming in libraries. Thank you, Jeff.
Rachel, thank you for joining us again. I share your excitement to be kind of to pun a little bit, to be on the ground floor, working with
yes
for ground news via LibraryUp. So I'm really excited that things are starting to take off for you guys.
Yes,
and we're thrilled to be partners.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, well, it's hard to believe, but that brings us to the end of yet another Taco Tuesday here at WiLS. I want to say thank you to all of our presenters for being with us here today. And thank you to all of those, all of you who have joined us live and who are joining us via the recording. As I say every Taco Tuesday, we will be back. We are doing sessions every 2 weeks. Sometime later in the year, we might do 2 back-to-back in order to accommodate the holidays. But for the next few months, you'll be seeing us every 2 weeks. That includes 2 weeks from today, which is September 19th. So we hope you'll join us for our next Taco Tuesday then. Thanks again to all of our speakers, and have a great afternoon. Bye.